go ahead and transition to the game of the week, the Steelers-Niners. Of course, we both picked Pittsburgh, and we also picked them in our bets on a budget at plus 2.5, getting points at home. The reason this is the game of the week is because I think the matchups on both sides of the football are really fascinating. They're really high-end matchups. So I think Pittsburgh has a chance to have a top 10 offense. I really do. We know the Niners, they have an all-pro at every level. Right? Like now, they're going to miss Nick Bosa up front for sure, but they still got dudes up front. Like they still got guys up front that can play. And so I think the main issue is that the Steelers front, we don't know how their offensive line is going to look. And knowing how good the Niners can get after the quarterback, that's going to be something to watch. So I think the firepower, and then of course you flip the script. The Steelers defense is fantastic.
Yeah.
To get after the quarterback, and that's the weakness of the Niners. Like there's a lot of similarities. Young quarterback, really really nice weapons. Offensive line is like okay, but has some hope to it. Have like one or two good pieces, and then a couple holes. Going against a really good defense with all-pro safety, Talanoa Hufanga, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Really good pass rushers. Now, Nick Bosa won't play, but again, still really good pass rushers. TJ Watt, really good pass rusher. Alex Highsmith can play.
Yeah.
Linebackers, I would give the edge to San Francisco, but the Steelers certainly have serviceable linebackers. Both of them have weaknesses at DBs, although I think the Niners are slightly better, but it all depends on how Joey Porter Jr. can play. So it's a very mirror-like matchup. That's kind of why I think it's the game of the week, because they're very, very similar. They match up really well, I think.
Yeah, it reminds me, we had a TikTok about a week or two ago at this point where you were talking about the Steelers, and you said they're pretty much like the 49ers East, right? Like, you're saying they are a very similar squad on the other side of the country, on the other coast, but I think matchup-wise, when you were breaking it down from the most fundamental standpoint that you can possibly get to, the running games, I think, as long as the Steelers' offensive line can play decent, are a wash. You might be able to I'd give the slight edge to the 49ers, but you have a pretty good committee in Pittsburgh too. Don't forget Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. That's a good 1-2 punch, and they're different enough where they supplement each other, right? Najee's never going to be the guy that goes out and breaks off an 85-yard run, 90-yard run. That's just not him. He doesn't have the speed for it. But if you need 8 to 9 yards on a first down where he's going to bowl people over and break through that offensive line and that defensive line, that's your guy.
George Kittle's also still questionable with a groin injury.
Now, that's the other thing. Tight ends. Even if George Kittle plays,
Muth and Darnell Washington.
The Steelers have a pretty good combo.
So I was gonna talk about that. I think one of the keys to victory for the Steelers, I think one is playing a lot of 12 personnel. That's one back, two tight ends.
Yeah.
I think to be able to kind of show that jumbo look, right? You are not going to succeed if you have to drop back and pass frequently, right? That roaming safety Hufanga, the linebackers are going to drop into coverage, and both are fantastic in coverage. And then the pass rushers are going to be able to pin their ears back. I think if you can kind of take it to them, because yes, they can be physical in their front four, but their linebackers are known for being more speed-oriented. Same thing with their secondary, right? So if you can show them, hey, we're going to run this ball down your throat here. We're going to go 2-3 tight ends, 12 and 13 personnel, and run the football. We're going to have 2 to 3 backs that we're just going to rotate in. We're going to keep fresh legs out there, and we are going to take it to you. And then Kenny Pickett on 3rd and 4 is going to be able to pull the ball and play action and hit open guys. That's, I think, the key to victory. Can you establish yourself in the jumbo personnel, 12 and 13 personnel? Yeah. If they can, I think they're going to be really, really successful.
Now, let's not forget, this is going to be a huge test for Kenny Pickett as well. You are coming out, you are seeing one of the better defenses in the NFL, starting off at your own place week 1. Hello, let's go, welcome to 2023, right? So there's going to be a lot to learn and a lot to take away from in this game. Now, I think this is where the weapons, if you are that guy on Pittsburgh, if George Pickens is supposed to be that next really, really, really coveted receiver, he's been compared to Justin Jefferson this offseason. I don't personally agree with that as it stands right now, but if that's what your projection is and that's what you are trying to be, this is the game where you show it.
I think he's a much different player. Justin Jefferson's more of a route runner, explosive guy. I think George Pickens can be, but he's more of a possession guy. You throw the ball up I think it was Joe Hayden said it's not a 50-50 ball, it's a 90-10 ball.
Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of view him. Like big catch radius, good strong hand type guy. Yeah, he can run after the catch. I'm not saying he can't, but he's not a Jefferson Chase dynamic athlete on the outside like those guys who run after the catch. Really, really crisp route runner. Like, he's good. I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
I view him more as like a possession guy, big catch radius, almost like a D-hop, but a little bit more explosive.
Yeah, I think this is the time to prove it, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a time, it is now. It's week 1. It's one of the best teams in the NFC. I mean, we both have them. I have them coming out of the NFC again this year.
We both do, I think.
So, like, look, it's either put up or shut up time. It's time to either regress back to what everybody in the media thought you were, or it's time to prove everybody wrong and go out and say, you know what, yeah, we did have a great preseason. It's not just a preseason thing. We're going to be able to carry this into the regular season.
I would also say it being at Heinz Field is huge. Or what?
Acrisure. Yeah,
no,
you go.
it's still Heinz for me. But, like, that's huge. That could be a massive swing. There are very few stadiums that provide that much of a home field advantage, but I do think Heinz Acrisure is one of them. So excited to see you guys. That is our game of the week. Niners going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. We have the Steelers at +2.5, and we are riding the Steelers at home. Getting points, Tomlin as a dog is historically great. I don't think that changes week 1.
No, it should be damn good. Guys, thank you for listening.